Today on the newscast, Syria warns Israel of a wider war as Hezbollah sends reinforcemements. Get all the breaking details next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast. We have a quick update on yesterday's Watchman Newscast live stream in which we covered Israeli airstrikes near Damascus International Airport and directly targeting, reportedly, Aleppo International Airport in northwestern Syria. Now both the Syrian regime and Hezbollah are responding. Number one, today, Syria's foreign minister laid down some pretty harsh threats to Israel. He said that sooner or later, Israel will pay the price over those repeated Israeli airstrikes against the Iranian regime and its allies inside Syria. He also said that, quote, Israel is playing with fire and threatened a wider regional war. Again, all revolving around those Israeli airstrikes, which are hitting the Syrian regime's good friends and guests, the Iranian regime and Hezbollah. Now, just to review, if you missed yesterday's live stream, you can check it out here in our archives under Newscast. Hey, while you're there, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. You can help us get to 500,000. Hard to believe, folks, but we are getting very close. We thank God and we thank you for watching every day and joining us shoulder to shoulder as watchmen and women on the wall. But let's dig into this a bit. Israel reportedly struck on Wednesday night Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps weapons depots near the Damascus International Airport. In terms of Aleppo and the airport there, reportedly an Iranian cargo plane was on its way to that airport. I presume that it turned back once Israel started to conduct airstrikes. Why Aleppo all of a sudden? Rarely has Israel struck around that area in years past. Well, as we reported here in the newscast back in June, Israel destroyed the runway of Damascus International Airport, sending a message to the Iranian regime that, hey, no longer, Israel said, will we allow you to transit advanced weapons from Iran through that Damascus airport into the hands of Hezbollah. Folks, remember, plane after plane was arriving in Damascus and offloading weapons and weapons parts, again, that would be supplied to Hezbollah on Israel's doorstep. And not just to Hezbollah. Of course, Iran is pushing towards the Golan Heights. They would like to establish in Syria, along the Golan Heights, the same kind of scenario that they have, unfortunately, successfully accomplished in southern Lebanon, whereas Hezbollah is armed to the teeth with at least 150,000 rockets and missiles pointed at every inch of Israel. The Iranian regime wants to duplicate that in Syria. Israel says, no way, red line, and that is why Israel has conducted so many airstrikes against Iranian assets and Hezbollah assets inside Syria over the past few years. Again, that includes Damascus International Airport. The runway was shut down for about a week or two, but that airport is now up and running again. Perhaps yesterday's strikes from Israel at that airport were a sign that Iran now is saying, okay, Israel is on to us when it comes to Damascus. Perhaps we will bypass Damascus and send our shipments now through Aleppo. Unfortunately for the Iranian regime, Israel is kind of wise to that game, it seems. So I think that's part and parcel of what we saw yesterday. But hey, again, this is all unfolding on Syrian territory, folks. It's a major embarrassment, obviously, for the Assad regime. Hey, the Iranian regime, Hezbollah, Russia, guests of the regime, guests of Assad, and even if he wanted them to leave, guess what? They're not going anywhere. Both Iran and Russia, they believe that they are in Syria to stay because it is crucial, folks, to their overall end game and strategic goals in the region. Iran wants that beachhead in Syria in order to transit weapons through Hezbollah and set up a launching pad against Israel. Yes, the Iranian regime really means what they say when they say they want to destroy Israel, and that's why they're taking steps to do exactly that. Syria is a big part of that ideological goal for the regime. And then Russia. Vladimir Putin, of course, wants to extend Soviet-era power once again and make Russia a great superpower on the world stage. And a major part of that is you must have a presence in the Middle East, the world's most strategic region. So Russia, Iran, they believe they are in Syria to stay. They helped Assad prevail clearly in that bloody, brutal civil war. So they are not going anywhere. In the meantime, Hezbollah, Iran's most lethal proxy, they also have set up shop in Syria alongside their Iranian masters. And now they are reportedly sending reinforcements to Syria around the area of Homs in western Syria in the wake of these airstrikes yesterday. So Hezbollah building up and bulking up its presence in Syria, perhaps trying to send some sort of message to Israel. Hey, remember, just a week ago today in Masayaf, not far from Homs, Israel carried out another round of airstrikes. And folks, they destroyed, just to review, if you missed it earlier this week on the newscast, Israel destroyed up to 1,000 mid-range Iranian missiles. And some of those missiles reportedly were precision guided. So I called it a major coup for Israel a week ago. So the Israeli strikes are coming at a pretty rapid clip lately, and now Iran and Hezbollah are quite literally scrambling, and that is a good thing, because as long as they're on their heels, and ultimately Israel would like to show them the door out of Syria and away from Israel's borders, I don't know if that's going to happen, because the Iranian regime is, and I use this word literally, hell-bent, that demonic regime that runs Iran, on establishing that base in Syria. By the way, not the Iranian people. Crucial distinction, the regime that oppresses and represses the Iranian people, who are the main victims of the mullahs. Hey, before we go, a quick mention, and of course, the Syrian regime now warning of a wider war. We know that's coming. We've talked about it many times here in the newscast. We have called it the Great Northern War, which will, I believe, kick off to Israel's north in Lebanon, in Syria, where Israel will be forced to finally confront that Iranian Hezbollah threat in a decisive way. But I also believe that entire ring of fire that surrounds Israel, that ring of fire of Iranian proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, the Houthis in Yemen, those various Shia militias in Iraq and Syria, all armed to the teeth with missiles, attack drones, that will ignite when this war comes. But you know what? God's in control. He sits on the throne. His hand is on Israel. So be encouraged. Do not fret when I'm sharing this information, but I think you would rather know than not know, and it gives you an idea of how you can pray, and prayer works. Last mention real quick before we go, China and Russia. Russia kicking off massive war games today, September 1st, lasting through September 7th. The Vostok 2022 war games in eastern Russia and the Sea of Japan. China is a part, along with Nicaragua and Syria and some others. But Russia, China, folks, that growing alliance, that gathering storm we've been telling you about here in the newscast, it is a message to the United States, to the West. Is the West up for it? As I mentioned on yesterday's live stream, where have you gone, Winston Churchill? We could use a Churchillian figure today in the West. Let's see if one emerges, because the threats are gathering. Folks, thanks so much for joining us here today on the newscast. Until tomorrow, God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, click subscribe, and tap the bell icon to turn on notifications for new Watchman Newscast episodes every weekday.